Right, welcome to Bragging Rights, episode 21. Sponsored by Comscarf. Housed, I never know what to say with this bit. Homed,
Dossed,
cared for by
dossed.
Tribal. Well, cared for is a bit of an exaggeration, isn't it? But cool. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hype on YouTube. Found out this week that apparently you can only hype on your phone.
So Josh said.
So if you're watching on TV, pick up your phone and hype on that 3 times in a week, please. How are we all doing?
Tired. Well,
Is Josh just not? Did we not have a high chair for Josh? Is he down there?
I've
or
eaten
what?
him.
Like, you've eaten him?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
I was hungry.
Well, I'm not going to ask how you are then, because you're full.
Full?
Yeah.
Tired but full. Full but tired.
So for people that are listening and not watching, Josh is not present because he's got more important things to do, which we're unaware of. And also, Susan's not here either, so
He's swanning off to
we're
producerless
producerless behind the camera. So
if it goes wrong, blame Susan for having an honeymoon.
Who'd get married? What a waste of money.
Who'd get married?
Are you married?
No,
No, good. How are you doing?
not too bad. We won for a change.
We did win for a change. I'm riding that high for as long as I can.
I mean, based on the next 6 fixtures, it might be a while.
Another 3 days.
Yeah, we've got Wakey next, then
Wakey, Wigan,
then
Rovers,
Rovers. Yeah.
York, Rovers again, and Lee, I think. No, maybe not in that order. There's a lot of tough matches coming up.
Fun, mate. It's a challenge.
But I would be mildly positive based on the performance on Saturday.
I'm not taking anything.
No, but
I said it on Umberside after. I was on Umberside after the game on the post match, and James Olgarth asked me on there, and I said to him, like, based on how we responded after that big win against Cass, I can't say that we're gonna, carry it on.
I'm inclined to agree, but I would also say that performance from against Huddersfield at the weekend might have nicked the win against Warrington. Now, don't get me wrong, Warrington were poor when they played us, but if we can perform like that and other teams don't either play to the potential or have an off day, we might nick a few more wins than we're thinking.
Yeah, I think one of the ways that I looked at it was, obviously, you've got to factor in the fact that Huddersfield were crap.
Yes.
You have to factor that in, but what really impressed me is that in the recent past especially, we've been very guilty of playing a poor team and letting ourselves get dragged down into that level of game. Mm-hmm. We didn't let them do it. I'm not saying we were well beaters, we were far from it. There's still things that need working on, but the players had the mental strength, I think, to sort of rise above and concentrate on our own game, which we've not seen them do for... I mean, when you look at the fact that Love Rugby League put Amir Burrow in their team of the week, that's... something's going right.
Or very wrong.
Drastically wrong.
Or drastically wrong, yeah.
I'm inclined to agree, but for me, perform like that and we'll see more results than we think we might.
Must be frustrating though, because that them sort of performances are in there.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't. Not from Burrow, at least. I've never seen
maybe
him
not
play
from
like
Burrow,
that.
yeah.
Genuinely, I don't want to bag on him this week because I think we have done a lot of that. Yeah. He genuinely surprised me.
Yeah. But it must be frustrating, because you did it against Cass, albeit a poor Cass on the day. If you'd played like that against Warrington, you'd probably nick the 2 points, as you just said, they're able. So it must be frustrating for you that them type of performances are in there, but they're just not as prevalent as you'd like them to be.
I think those performances will hopefully continue to come the more players you get back.
Yeah, of course, it goes with the territory.
I think for his limited minutes, I think he only played the first half. Cartwright showed up and actually put in a good performance for the time he was on the field.
He was class. Yeah. When he was on the field, he was class.
The problem's never when he's on the field. The problem is getting him on the field for long enough to see that.
Keeping him on the field,
We've said it since he came. When he's on the field, he's not just our best second row, he's by far, in my opinion, our best second row. He is, I'm not saying he's 10 times better than Batch, but he is noticeably better than Batch on his day. And Batch is a good second rower, but...
Not as good as his brother. had to derail you a little bit.
I just think why,
You're being too
Josh in
happy for
here.
me.
Josh in here.
I've got to take on his role, haven't I?
No.
We do need to be a bit more pessimistic, given we've got Wakey next week, or this week, sorry. But
No. It's like we've just said. Play like that, and
you've got a chance.
We'll give them a game.
Yeah.
And I think the positive for me is if we can keep our pack performing like they have done for the last 2 weeks, because they fronted up well against Warrington, maybe not for the full 80, but they fronted up well. They fronted up real well against a really poor Huddersfield team.
Yeah.
If our pack can keep performing like that, creating the space and giving the time for our backs to do stuff, and our backs keep doing what they did this week, which is learn to take advantage of that space and be a bit more thoughtful, not rushing things, and actually playing a bit more eyes up rugby instead of just going through the motions of what they do on the training ground. You've seen what we can do. So yeah, it was enjoyable to watch.
Shock.
Yeah, that is a shock.
Once. Obviously, I didn't see it, but from what I've seen of what I've read and things like that, it looks like there was so many positives that because sometimes when you get a big win like that, there's some negatives you can take out of it. Your performance drops towards the end, or you start missing tackles, little daft things like that. But from what I've read, it seemed like a pretty sustained performance for the full game.
Yeah. I mean, you sent stats in, didn't you?
I'd seen them.
The stats on Super League were scarily close, realistically.
Really
given the points difference, I think it was the exact same amount of missed tackles.
Yeah, 35.
Only about sort of 50 metres difference on metres gained. I know the other stats that Sky threw on just after the match were pretty close as well.
Tackles were close. There was only about 20 in that. I
think their completion was like mid 70s. Ours was low 80s.
Yeah, so it was all really close apart from the score.
Yeah,
but the stat that I mentioned last week about us having the best best line defence.
Yeah, best red zone defence.
That showed, I think, because they had a couple of opportunities on our line, notably right at the end, just before the Uta, there was 2 sort of try-saving tackles on the line.
Yeah, and when the game's gone, you tend to see those scores narrowing the margin a little bit, don't you? Like, instead of it being 36-12, it's 36-18, for example. But so that must be pleasing for you.
100%. 100%. I just got to hope that we carry on, and I think this is where I kind of going to contradict myself a little bit, or the club might. The way that we carry on now is consistency, but what we're not going to get is consistency in terms of selection, because I think O'Neill looked like kid wants to go to play for England at the World Cup at centre, but he's definitely not going to be playing centre when Ardacre comes back. So he's going to get shoved back into the second row, which isn't a bad thing, because although Kirby was fantastic, probably best now to bring someone back in to second row in O'Neill, give Kirby a bit of a breakaway, maybe put him on the bench, give him less minutes, because he's still young, he's developing. What worries me is that if we do keep doing that sort of stuff, bringing injured players back, our backs aren't going to get that consistency in terms of like link-up play. I thought O'Neill in centre looked fantastic, and then it's kind of like, well, I wouldn't mind him staying at centre, but then at the same time it's like, well, do you play Zach there? Obviously you're going to bring Zach in for what he's done for us over the last couple of years. Does that mess with the flow a little bit? Who knows?
I mean, ultimately, your own players should be getting precedent over loan players anyway, shouldn't they? If we're being totally honest here. And I think...
Yes and no, it depends. Like, you look at players like Laidlaw, really decent young prop, really earning his stripes, and then we bring in a young prop from Warrington to, similar age, but on that performance from Max Wood, I won't have Laidlaw back in the squad. I'd keep Wood in the squad. It's whoever's the best player on the field, not at this time and now. For me, you've got to keep one eye on the future with the likes of players like Laidlaw and Kirby. But if you've got players that can come in and do a better job, then
Yeah, you play your best team for the
winning
job.
at the end of the day.
You do, but the only reason we're bringing loan players in is because we've got injuries, haven't we? I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think if you haven't got if it's not a direct replacement and you've got one in your squad, that person should be getting the precedent. Is my point. So if we had another centre, basically, so obviously Hardacre gets fit, Hardacre replaces O'Neill back in the centre.
Yeah.
But then O'Neill
yeah.
goes back into the park, but then that means there's more shuffling there with the players you've got.
I mean, you look at the top clubs; they've pretty had a set 13. Look at Rovers. You make a joke, Jimmy, like down the line of, is it 1 to 17 again? Near enough.
That's not a joke, mate. That's a
not
genuine,
a joke, but you know
it's a
what I
genuine
mean.
frustration.
Barry Morgue, you basically have had that.
Yeah,
all year,
pretty
haven't you?
much, and like other teams have as well. Maybe missing 1 or 2 here and there, but they've had largely 1 to 20-ish in their matchday squads, and that's going to take its toll when, obviously, you look at Hull and you're playing bigger numbers because you've got loan players who are like 34, 35.
I think Wood was our 36th player that's played this year.
Yeah, so you're never going to get any sort of consistency if you're not getting you 1 to 20 are basically you 1 to 20 because they're the best 20 players in your squad.
Yeah.
So, or position-wise, obviously, say like a second row might be better than a full-back, for example. But in terms of positions,
I know what you're saying. And do you know what? It's going into Wakefield with Zach coming back. It's a nice little question mark to put in last said. You know, the likelihood is Hardacre's going to come back in at 4, isn't he?
Is that confirmed? Because obviously he had an injury from the week before.
It was head knock, wasn't it?
So, was it? Right, okay.
Yeah. So his head knocks. He's done his time, or he will have done his time, I think, by the
provided
Wakefield
there's
game.
been no after effects.
Yeah.
Which I haven't read any. So.
And then, couple of a bit of injury news. So.
So just looks like a few niggles from that game. So Caesar and Lloyd Kemp both carrying a little niggle, groin and hamstring respectively. Nothing serious by the sounds of it, but
precautionary substitutions on it or interchanges.
I mean, against good job it was Huddersfield, otherwise you might not have had the luxury of doing it. And then coming back this week potentially into the squad, Martin and Lytton both have a possibility of playing, and an outside chance with James Bell. I mean, given if all of those were fully fit, you'd pretty much put all of them back in the squad, wouldn't you? Let's be real.
Yeah. If they are fit, but I don't think other than maybe Bell, who I think makes a huge difference in terms of what we can do because of his ball handling skills at 13. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see him back now. But in terms of like Martin and Lytton, I don't think we looked weak in the outside backs, so I wouldn't rush them back. I'd give them as long as they actually needed. I think we're in a good enough position in that sense. But Bell, he's a huge loss, and he's a potential. I'm not going to go as far as saying game changer, but he changes the way that our attack functions significantly. So, it'd be nice to have Bell back. But as it says there, last his words, probably not this week. So, one thing I do want to mention. It was Hull and Proud week again. I know we should have probably mentioned it last week just to let people know, but plenty going on around the club again. Successful by all accounts. I think the shirt that we wore, I wish we'd wear it a bit more because it looks stunning. And I went and bought one, even though it's a bit tight around the belly.
You get the player shirt again.
Mm-hmm. No, do you know what? I went in the shop and I looked at the collar and it had the space, for the GPS tracker. And I was like, oh, have you got the normal one? She went, oh, they're all like that. They're classed as loose fit or relaxed fit player shirts. So it's got all like, like the grippy bits and stuff on it, but it fits like a fan shirt. No, I was like, oh, fair enough. I mean, it's not costing me any more than it would have any others, so I'm happy with that. Unless I start trying to get some of my arm gets stuck on the sticky bits. But yeah, it's quite nice. And then I think one thing that really frustrated me, because I was told that it didn't come across well on TV, the only other thing to mention was, not necessarily just at the end of the game, but firstly, the minute silence for John Keir was impeccable. Everyone in that stadium, I think the only thing I could hear was turnstiles. I think they were like turning off the turn or shutting the turnstile.
Sorry, come back.
No, I think they were shutting the turnstile gates at the time that it was on, and it was a bit frustrating to hear that. But that's the only noise. Like, I didn't even hear anyone talking on the concourse.
You mean the hordes of Huddersfield Giants fans stayed quiet?
All of them, all 7.
Nice.
But yeah, they actually put. Do you know what they put on the big screen where it's like a picture of John Keir? You know, he's years. They put that on the screens on the concourse, which they've never normally done. So when you were there ordering food,
it made them aware
you
as well.
couldn't see the menu because it had changed to that, and
that's good.
They did that so that probably so that, but everyone on the concourse knew as well, and it was deathly sort of silent, eerily silent, and then
No change to during the match then probably.
Oh, fuck off! Honestly, you are unbearable.
My father.
No, and then the other thing, the thing that kind of frustrated me because it didn't come across on the telly, was the last 10, easy 10 minutes, possibly 15 minutes. So that southeast corner, they were just bouncing with the John Keir song, you know, they got nowhere, we don't care, bouncing. And they carried on for like 5 minutes at least, and then it started kind of creeping across the east stand a little bit further towards us, and then it was not the last try-saving tackle, but the second to last try-saving tackle in the lead up to the end of the game. The fans kind of erupted because it was a great tackle to stop them getting over the line. And then everyone kind of stayed on the feet, and the entire stadium, everyone in black and white pretty much was up chanting past sort of 5 minutes post the end of the game. And it was, I said to Dean, I was like, it was kind of difficult when I starting to sing it. I was like a lump in my throat, and then it just carried on and on, and I was like, this is great. And every now and again you have sort of like a memorable kind of experience, yeah, at a game. And in terms of chanting, like the only other time I can remember a chant going on for so long that kind of sticks in my head was we played the last ever game at the racecourse with Crusaders, and it was all the Hull fans and all the Crusaders fans all singing Crusaders, and like that was going on for 10, 15, 20 minutes as well, because everyone was getting applauded, both sets of fans. That sticks in my mind, that, and I think this one will as well, for very different reasons. That'll stay for a long time, and it was a credit to the man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, yeah. Anyway, we've got some results, a mixed bag of results to go through in terms of our foundations team. So I'll let.
Just the FC ones.
Yeah. Okay.
So the girls' team drew that Leeds, FC Elland, 12-12. The under-18s, FC won 38-26 against Lee.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but it's a derby.
Yeah. Sorry, I misread that. Reserves, Cass comfortably beat FC 48-12. Apparently the wheelchair score is not worth knowing. FC were well beaten, apparently. And
also, we can't find the score.
Okay, fair enough. And then the women's Rovers team beat the FC women's team 20 points to 12. So.
Boo.
Shock.
Bragging Rights is proudly sponsored by Comscaff. Hull's own Comscaff have been keeping things safe and steady for over 30 years, providing professional scaffolding services nationwide. If you need a team you can trust for your next project, big or small, head to comscaff.co.uk or give them a call on 01482 782 181.
Right, let's lighten the mood a little bit. that was enough morbidity for talking about FC. Back to winning ways, thankfully. It was starting to feel a bit like a bit of an unknown substance winning. So
Are you having me on? Didn't you lose 2 games?
2 games is 2 games, mate.
Sod.
No. I mean, it's great to get back to winning ways, obviously, from a Rovers fan point of view, but it was very, very scruffy. It wasn't enjoyable, I didn't think. There was
It wasn't vintage you, was it? Based
definitely not.
Based on semi performances this year.
No, definitely not. And there was so many. I mean, yeah, it was great that we got a response in terms of we lost narrowly to Wakefield, and we did get that response. But I do feel if we would have been playing a better side than York, we wouldn't be talking about a win. Because I don't think we were that brilliant, if I'm totally honest.
I'll put my hand up and say, in the same sense, you didn't watch us. I didn't watch your game either.
I had a reason. I had a reason. I was in bed.
I had a reason. Canada versus Bosnia.
Little America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First ever World Cup point.
Yeah. Well, on that note,
Wow.
move on.
Yeah.
Nah. Short dropouts. Just save them for when they're necessary. Why are teams? What's wrong with defending? What's wrong with kicking it 40, 50 metres, fronting up to the big airy ass forward that's strolling it in, and just fronting up and defending?
But we had this question when Cookie was on beginning of last season, and he explained it quite well. A lot of teams, us especially, we would prefer to defend our line than defend open space. And I kind of agree, especially I've not watched enough for you to know how confident your guys are defending their own line, but
obviously not very good.
I would prefer to watch FC with a foot on the try line when the ball's played than 40 metres out.
Yeah, when they come off, they look great. It's a great bit of skill. You get the ball back. But I think if you're going to go short, the whole team needs to be on the same page of we need to do everything we can to get this ball back. And if we don't, we need to stop them. Rovers did neither.
No,
Batchelor I don't want to bag on the man because he was absolutely superb on Friday night, but
he's nearly as good as his brother.
Minimal effort. I don't even have any words. Nearly as good as his brother.
You were catching me out. I'm going to start catching you out.
No, what I would describe as a half-assed effort. Obviously, during the game, I questioned it. Was it an obstruction? You guys said no, which is fair enough. The screen wasn't really very clear. It only showed a quick replay, and the referee was like, "No, that's fine." I watched it back. I agree. Nothing wrong with it. Batchelor again was looking for that. I think he looked where the York player was, ran into him. All right, he didn't claim for it, if you will, to give him his due there, but there wasn't that sort of effort to get the ball back. Like, if he was really trying, he could have gone round the player and then tried to get it. I'm not just bagging on Batch because he wasn't the only one in that area, but obviously he was the most noticeable with him running into the York player, and then it was sort of like the middle, because obviously we went to our right. The middle didn't seem to come up. Bennison crabbed across, found a crease, and just went over under the post. So, really frustrating trying to concede from a Rovers point of view, because like you said, James, it wasn't vintage. We are usually very good at defending our own line. Obviously not as good as FC at the minute, because you're
18
top
on
of
average.
that stat. Yeah, exactly. But no, it was just frustrating to see, and an already quiet crowd was quietened a little bit more because of that. Obviously, it did pick up going on a little bit later on, but it just seemed like a frustrating afternoon. And credit to York, they never stopped. There was a lot of endeavour, but not a lot of quality, if you will. The effort was there, the commitment was there. They were still trying to make. Early on, they were rolling us. They were making way too many yards coming out of backfield. And I guess that sort of ties into that Cookie sort of notion of when they're bringing it out of the backfield, they was making loads of yards, but then when they were starting with the ball on 40, 50, for example, they weren't making, obviously there's not as many yards to make, but...
Was that an intentional tactic, though, from Willie? Because I've kind of started thinking about the way that we defend, and I think we intentionally allow teams to get metres in the midfield and in the backfield. Not necessarily so much in the backfield, but definitely in the midfield, in an energy sort of conservation kind of effort, because we know we can defend our line. Let's not put too much energy into defending that extra 5 metres, 45 metres out, and do it that way? Do you not think that Willie might be doing something like that? Because it's noticeable for us, and again, I don't watch you guys enough in as much detail as probably I should to know whether is that not a common thing for you, that you're allowing meters to preserve energy?
It's not something we've seen over the past 18 months. The past 18 months we've been dominant in our defence. We've been pinning teams 20, 30 metres out when they're kicking. It just seems recently, within the last couple of months, where teams are making a lot more yards of kicking from the 40 or 30 of our half rather than in their own. So whether it's a change maybe in tactic, as you've just mentioned there, Jimmy, I'm not 100% sure, but it's one that you could see making sense, because we did defend our line very well. York had quite a lot of ball, especially, like I said, it was scruffy. We were dropping a lot of ball, which I'll get onto in a bit, but there was a lot of defending, sort of 40, 30 out from us, which we haven't really done a lot of in the past 18 months or so, as I keep alluding to, but maybe it is a tactic, who knows? I mean, we're not privy to that sort of information, and if it is, then you can understand it. Maybe that, we've spoke about us looking tired over the last couple of weeks. Is that an aftermath of being that dominant in defence and putting that extra effort in to get that extra 5 metres, as you just spoke about, Jimmy, there? Now we've tweaked it a little bit and we're letting them come on to us rather than... So we're saying, we'll go 100 yards. We'll go 100 yards. We don't care.
Seems a little bit dangerous to me if it is a tactic, just because you're likely to get pinned in. And like say, if you do have a Rovers-style defence that's going to try and bash you around in your own 20, you could easily get stuck.
Yeah,
if you're inviting the team onto you. If you haven't got the ability to clear your own line.
I suppose it comes down to each individual game, though, doesn't it? Like, would he defend that way against Wigan?
Yeah, true.
Like, because they've got no
Don't think you have the choice.
Well, no, but like in a perfect game plan, obviously the coach would have a perfect game plan in his head. It's probably saying, let York come on to us if it is what you're saying, Jimmy. Whereas if it's Wigan, we're saying, get in the faces, beat them at their own game, play them in their half, don't play them in ours. If they want to score, make them go 80 metres, 90 metres. Because we 10 over in that 10 by 10 box. There's a lot of times where on the last play, you'll see us take a power play, in inverted commas, rather than us kicking it and it
just take the tackle.
Dead. Take the tackle in that 10 by 10 box and make them go 95 metres.
Do you know what frustrates me about that is I love that tactic.
Yeah.
I think we did it quite a bit, especially when Cartwright first came in, and we were taking the tackle in their 10 instead of kicking it through and risking that 7 tackle set. Just take the tackle, turn it over 5 metres out. The amount of fans that don't put 2 and 2 together and think about it and think, oh, why are you kicking it? Why are you kicking it? And I'm like, well, if he kicked it, then there's a chance it goes dead, and then they start 20 metres further downfield and they get 7 tackles. Like, and they're the type of fans that boo when the ref wipes the tackle count after the first tackle on the 7 tackles there. Do you know what I mean? But I do like that. Just take the tackle, settle it, turn it over in good space.
Obviously, it's been a blueprint for us where it's worked so well because we've had that domination in defence where we've had that energy to get off our line and bash them about in their own 10 and then they're kicking from 20, 30 metres out. Whereas, again, against a team like York, do you just, again, conserve that energy?
Do you know what, though? What I will say is this very much sounds like a very kind of over-privileged review of your game, in the sense that I think now you've become so accustomed as fans to seeing high sort of value performances out of all your players, 1 to 17. You've got to the point where you're beating teams by decent scorelines when you're not playing well, which are the type of games that that's a championship mentality. Champions mentality. Sorry, you're playing shit, but you're still turning teams over. And as a fan, you've kind of got that privilege now after the last couple of years, where it's like, well, that's not good enough.
Yeah, obviously me and Josh especially, like we're very much feet on the ground. Like we're not getting carried away. We knew that dominance wouldn't always be there, if that makes sense. There was going to become a period where I mean, that's probably just a pessimist in me, but there's always going to be a period where you're not going to be as dominant as what you were. It happens. It's sport, you know. But you are right. It is like if this was Rovers from a couple of years ago and we'd turned over York in this manner with the amount of errors that we made and things like that, you know, we'd be waxing lyrical. But
2 points.
Yeah, exactly. 2 points is 2 points, and in a game where you'd probably expect to win. No, again, no offence to York, but this is probably a game we, as Rovers fans in that privilege, would probably expect to win by a bigger margin with a better performance.
And it's not a dig, by the way, because
No,
obviously
absolutely not. You're right.
Especially coming from yourself, you're a fan of a team. You are still expecting your team to push for the league leaders. You're expecting your team to push for the grand final. So you should be expecting excellence out of your players at every opportunity. So I get it. It's not a dig or anything, but it makes me laugh a little bit because, like, I'm thinking as an FC fan, and I know that you would have been thinking, like you said,
absolutely,
4 years ago as a Rovers fan, well, sod it, it's 2 points in the bag, like, happy days.
Yeah, that's it. I remember those days. So for me, it's easy to relate back. Obviously, we've got a lot of new fans, which comes with success, who don't.
But they'll go when Willie's left, so...
Maybe not, but they come with that territory of being good. You get the new fans, you know. So we'll see. We'll just see. But great to be back in the win column and still in the mix at the top of the league. I think 4 points off the top with a game in hand.
Do you know what? I don't even know what the league looks like.
Leeds top, Warrington second, I think. And
I've kind of done it on
to the bottom, Jimmy.
Yeah, I know. I've done it on purpose. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, when you're like, I'm not interested in the league right now. I'm interested in performance, and I'll pay more attention to the league in the lead up to the playoffs and things like that.
Yeah, I think it's very, very tight though. I think 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th are all on 16 or 18 points. It's really close.
There's a really big gap between the playoff spots and everyone else.
Yeah, there is.
About 6 points or something like that.
I think the playoffs are pretty much set, not in that order, but I think in terms of the teams that are in there,
we will see.
We'll see. But yeah, good to be back in the win column. So just a quick roundup then of our final fixtures of the weekend. Obviously, James already spoke about the women, so I won't go into that. The reserves beat Leeds 34-26 at home. The surprising result of the week was the previously unbeaten Leeds Rhinos getting turned over by our academy, which we apparently don't have.
We do have one. You just buy people into it instead of training people.
No, not our academy. That's our reserves. That's different.
Oh, your academy are the ones that get bullied. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, apparently. But yeah, they turned over Leeds 2012 on their own muck, so superb result for them. And bit of a negative one, under 15s girls lost 12-24 at Dewsbury Moor in the first defeat, I think, for about 18 months. So that's something for them to work on and try and get back to winning ways again next week.
Cracking effort though, undefeated in 18 months.
About that, yeah. I'm sure Colin will correct me, but I'm pretty sure it's around about 18 months where they haven't lost.
Effort. Right, on to Josh's section, which has been taken by Abel. Just like, second week on the job, just
Thrown in the deep
throwing
end.
you to the wolves, yeah.
Okay. Couple of things, major ones. We'll just very briefly go on to very briefly cover the other ones, then we'll talk about the 2 ones in detail. So, Gannon's coming back to Leeds from the NRL.
He's not had a good time.
Ollie Ashall signed a 4-year deal with Toulouse, and Bradford have signed Sam Essay, which I think might have been covered in the last.
Yeah, I think Josh
podcast,
spoke about that last week. Yeah.
But the 2 main ones that I wanted to cover, based on what was available, was Charnley going back into the lead on the overall try record. I believe it's Super League.
Yeah, Super League top try scorer.
Which I think is at 272 now after a hat-trick at the weekend against Bradford.
That's mental.
Yeah.
I think.
And he's had time out the game as well.
Yeah. I mean, think about how long we played rugby for us. I know it was amateurs, but how many tries do you reckon you scored over your entire time playing for like Lambworth and stuff? And then
just
this
enough
guy,
not to have to do the naked run every week.
exactly. That's as long as I got one a year, even as a winger.
Because you had centres who did pass.
Yeah, true.
Josh.
But to do that consistently at the top level, and you got to imagine factor in as well that he had a year out at Sale, and when he first came back, he didn't light the world up immediately.
No.
He took a little while to get back into it.
I mean, the next big number is obviously 280, and that's obviously 14 tries, 20 tries a year in 14 Super League years. So obviously, if he started at 16, I think he's in his mid-30s now. I think he's 33, 34.
So, yeah.
So obviously, the few years that he had out of, he's probably only got another couple of years realistically, unless he does a riot or like.
Yeah, keeps going.
I think he will. He looks fit. He doesn't look. He maybe lost a yard of pace, but I mean, he was so fast in the beginning anyway. He's still rapid.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you replace that speed with game intelligence, and you learn how to read the games, and you start everything a yard further forward because you've lost that yard of pace, so you don't look like you've lost anything.
Yeah. The only thing is, obviously, he doesn't quite have obviously his main competitor at the minute is Ryan Hall, who I think is retiring at the end of the year. Did I read that earlier in this season, maybe?
He's been retiring for the past 3 seasons,
I know,
so...
But obviously,
he just keeps threatening it.
Obviously, Ryan Hall's not got the speed he once had, but he's always been a bigger winger, and you could always just feed him a crash ball.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't necessarily know if Charnley's got that in the locker, just because he doesn't have the same size.
He's not, but he is... For his size,
he's not slight. I know, but
no, but for his size, I think he punches above his weight
Yeah.
in terms of his power. But yeah, I mean, compared to Ryan Hall, no one's got anything in that position, have they? So, well, maybe
Macasivo, yeah.
Vanacola back in the day.
Yeah, maybe, but again, that's it. 3. We've just named 2 players.
Yeah.
So.
I'm just going to stop you there. I accept Vanacola used to wear 5 and he used to stand near the touchline for the entire game. I refuse to accept that he was a winger. He's just one, was he?
Played on the wing, Jim.
Mate, he could play prop in a union team, he was that big.
I don't believe you were a winger though, Jimmy. So
What? I was always on the touchline. Just
usually bringing the water
only either just on one side of it or just on the other side of it.
watching, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that, and then the other big news was Kevin Sinfield.
We did it. We got him knighted.
We did.
Oh,
That's
Sir.
true.
Sir Kevin Sinfield as he is now.
Yeah. Sir Kevin Sinfield,
I don't know.
KBE.
We can't
To annoy
take
Jimmy.
credit for that, I don't think. I think that's
I think it's a rugby league world
I
thing.
think we have to give
We can try.
the entire rugby league world credit, but also Rob Burrow himself for calling it out, live on TV. It's, I think, probably one of the best sort of feel-good stories to come out of rugby league for ages. And I know for Wigan fans, they might be like, no, last year was, better, blah, blah, blah. Every single person that supports Super League, I think, for the last 5 years at least, has been calling for him to be knighted. And I will controversially say I don't agree with people saying it's overdue. I think it's been done at the right time and they've followed the right process, and in terms of like working his way up the honours scheme and stuff like that. And I know some people skip it, fine. But I think the fact that he's consistently been recognised year upon year with sort of, the MBE, the CBE, the OBE, and now to get the knighthood consistently recognised over a 5-year period, I think that's a cracking feel-good story for everyone.
£11 million now, I think, is that raised there or thereabouts?
Something like that, yeah.
Which
And he's
is-
got another thing coming up.
Yeah, which is an incredible amount, and it's not only the people in the spotlight. So sort of like your Rob Burrows, your Doddy Weers, your Lewis Moody's. Excuse me. Like, he's doing it also for people like Craig Escott and other people along those lines who are suffering with this horrendous disease. It's for them as well. Like, and he does a lot with the MND Association, which obviously includes a lot of people who aren't in the spotlight.
All while having a full-time job.
Yeah.
He was coaching. I can't remember.
Leicester.
Was it Leicester? I can't remember which.
It was someone in Union.
Yeah, I don't know
Gallagher
what club
Prem.
team it was, but it was. And now he's on the England coaching staff. Yeah. He's doing all this, fundraising and stuff for MND, and still performing at the highest level.
Must be
in terms of a coach.
shattered.
Oh yeah.
Like, his body must just.
Does
be
he ever
absolute
see his wife?
tatters.
Like, you know what I mean? Like.
I've no idea.
And fair play to him. You got to sacrifice some things to do what he's doing, but it's a worthy thing to be doing. And if you are sacrificing time with your family, and
Yeah,
stuff,
absolutely. Yeah.
I don't think people think about that side of it either.
No, that's it, isn't it? Like he will spend a lot of time away from home. All the runs he does, all the talks he does, this, that, and the other. So, and then, like you said, take into account his full-time job as well. Yeah.
Any more news?
That was the two main ones. Nothing else really sprung out. I'm sure there was other things that might have been worth talking about. Sevo is on course to break the Super League record.
I saw that.
Of 42 tries in one season.
Because he's giving him the ball 5 yards out.
He's currently at 22 tries.
I don't want him to get that record. I loved watching Solomona that year for Cass. Yeah. I thought it was phenomenal. And yeah, Sevo is as well, but Cass were one of them teams at that time where you could let yourself have a bit of a soft spot for them because they weren't really like out at that point. But Leeds, I'll never have a soft spot for Leeds, so sod him.
Sodom. Love it.
Only other statistic, Liam Farrell reaching 450 career appearances and scoring his 150th try for Wigan.
Same time?
Apparently so.
Yeah.
Nice.
Both on Saturday.
From Josh's research.
Yeah, it was. They announced it I think it was on the Wigan X page. 450 appearance, 150th try. For a second row, that's a cracking strike rate. Like 1 in 3.
I mean, he can barely have been injured, can he? 450 appearances.
Yeah,
even if he's done 20 years, which I don't know if it's quite that much yet.
But still, even if he has, that's 20 odd
performances every year.
A season, yeah.
He
clearly don't play for all. Anyway, I think that's it for news.
Yeah, pretty much. Right then, Tribal this week, I've had specific instructions not to throw Jimmy under the bus again.
Thank you.
So what's going on this week, Jimmy? No, just kidding. Thanks again to Tribal for hosting us, as always, keeping us watered, nurtured. Is she nurturing us? She thinks she is. Jimmy says otherwise.
Why are we just giving one person credit? I know, I will say, Amy is the one that, is here week in, week out, she lets us in and that, but we do have to say,
thanks to
everyone
at
Travel looks after us when they are here.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you to everybody at Travel for hosting us, nurturing us, everything else. So going on this week at Travel, for the duration of the World Cup, they will be showing all of the England games. No matter what time they're on, they will be open for them, whether it's 11, 2, 5, whatever. So I've been told by Amy. I'm guessing she's begrudging if it's a 5 o'clock kickoff.
I'm just going to look and expect a nod. What if it's one of them silly 5 a.m. kickoffs?
We ain't got one.
We ain't got one yet.
I've looked at all the fixtures.
All right, fair enough.
All right, well, apparently we haven't got any of those silly 5 a.m. fixtures, which for me, working nights aren't silly because they keep me awake for the last 2 hours of my shift. Just joking, by the way, I do stay awake normally.
Liar.
No, I'm not. Wednesday is the return of Origin at round 2. Tribal will be open from 10:30, showing the game. So if you're at a loose end, just at home, would have been watching it on telly, come down here. Great atmosphere.
Grab yourself a bacon butty.
Grab yourself a bacon butty, by all accounts. I ain't had one from here yet, so I can't testify for all the taste, but it's a bacon butty. How far wrong can you go?
Bacon butty in a pint, 10 in the morning, why not?
It's 11 o'clock somewhere, right? And on that, I see Ashley Klein's got the gig again.
Has he really?
By all accounts. So Lauren was telling me Ashley Klein's got the gig again, so they must be paying him off.
I mean, as a Souths fan, I was buzzing.
Yeah.
With his absolutely perfect decision to send off Galen Ponga.
To overrule the video ref. Yeah. Anyway, back to Travel. They will also be showing all of the Super League games, all 7. Well, no. Will you have both games on at the same time? Do you do that? Do you have separate tellies? Yep. So they will be showing all 7 games this weekend, starting on Thursday night. So again, if you're at a loose end, just fancy something different, come down, give it a watch. Don't forget to bring in your season pass and get 15% off your food and drink bill.
Yes. Rugby season passes.
Rugby, sorry, yeah. Hull KR, Hull FC. That. And also, thank you to 7 Gold. There. It's beautiful. I can't have any tonight because I'm going to work, which I'm really gutted about because this is a toffee one. I really like it. But yeah, thank you to those as well.
Comment section then, right? Because Dean's abandoned us. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, comment section. So, obviously we do read every single comment that comes through. We try and like every single comment that comes through as well, but obviously sometimes you send them through and I don't get a chance to do it until later, but we love it. We love the comments. I genuinely think this section is my favourite section. You know, like when you actually have that back and forth with the people that are listening and watching, it's...
Because they're the reason that we do this, aren't they? That we do
I'm
it
just
for them.
delaying so I can find the message.
That's fair enough, yeah. Well, I'll keep waffling some crap for now then.
Wait until we're winning a bit more, Jim, then see how you like the other sections.
No, like I had a chat with Dean earlier.
Okay,
like,
good man.
No, I do.
It's a valid point.
No, I'll cover it now. I had a chat with Dean earlier, and yes, talking about us winning, it's great. It's a lot better than talking about us losing, believe me. And talking about Rovers losing is great. It's a lot better than talking about them winning, and it does feel good. But two things that I really like, you know, when fans communicate with us, and whether that's at a game or whether that's through comment sections on YouTube and stuff like that, I think it's great. I like reading their opinions and answering their questions. And then on top of that, the next part, what we're going to do after the comment section, I genuinely think is the most fulfilling part about all of this, is the fact that this season and hopefully next season and any following that,
moving forward,
we're giving back as well and doing them causes. So yeah, it is great talking about rugby and talking about winning especially, but this is the stuff. So anyway, first one in is from Dave Goldspink. Great show again, guys. Enjoyed the balanced chat about Rovers and Hulls displays. Please discuss the play the ball. Hardly any players put their foot on the ball now, which is how it is. Last night, Burgess, I think, was penalised for an incorrect play the ball. Complete nonsense. It struck the York player who had not cleared the ruck. It should be the defending player's responsibility to clear, not the attacker. Thoughts, please?
Yeah, I'll start off with that one. I forgot to mention it, actually. It was one of those, I think it's down to the referee and their interpretation. It wasn't an incorrect play of the ball, he gave a knock-on in the ruck. So the York defender, I'm not sure it might have been Ata Hingano, not 100% sure. As he's getting up, he stood sort of leaned forward like that. Burgess then gets up. So it's an argument of Burgess needs to look after the ball. The York player needs to clear the ruck. Neither happened. The referee made a decision. Is what it is.
I didn't see it, so I can't comment.
It's one of those, you don't see it very often. Usually it's quite clear cut, whether it's the defender's not moved out of the way, whether the attacker's just lost the ball. But for me, that's down to referee's interpretation. Depending on what referee you've got, give different.
Me personally, I think there's absolutely some interpretation on clearing the ruck, because I do believe both defending players and attacking players both deliberately try to orchestrate scenarios which benefit them on a week-to-week basis, game by game.
Which we spoke about last week, didn't we? About the
Not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a bit more difficult for the referees to police, in my opinion. Touching the ball with your foot just should be a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if players aren't doing it, it's a penalty by the letter of the law, and that's just down to the refs interpreting the rule incorrectly.
I think.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if we're going to play by the letter of the law, you're meant to put the ball on the floor and roll it back with your heel. Like, you're meant to knock it back with your heel.
I mean, if that's the case, then change the rules, make them so they're applicable, and then police them as they are.
Yeah.
I think there was a bit of guidance. I don't know whether it was an official change in the law, but I think there was official guidance at the beginning of either this season or last season that as long as the player makes an attempt to use the foot, basically.
A lot of them don't. They don't even make
But
the
basically,
attempts.
what we see a lot of the time is you put the ball down, and as you're putting it down, you're rolling it back with your hand, and then you kind of like
Step over it.
do the sort of like, oh yeah, I meant to.
The motion
the
of
motion
rolling,
to flick
yeah,
it back.
yeah.
And I think, to be fair, as long as you're doing that, if you are just rolling it through with both feet on the floor, then yeah, fair enough, incorrect play the ball. But as long as you're making a motion to play the ball, it's fine.
I think I watched 3 games of the NRL over the weekend, and 90 to 95% of their play the balls, their foot went on the ball. I watched maybe 2.5 games of Super League, and probably 5% of the play of the balls were played.
To me, that says everything. That says the issue isn't the rule, the issue is how it's policed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over here, the players, again, we all talk about stretching the rules to your advantage, and players do that knowing that the refs aren't going to penalise them. Does it take one game, 1 week of like 20 penalties in a match to...
Yeah, but we see that at the beginning of every season.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
And that's the difference between the game over there. Well, one of the differences between the game down under and the game up here is the consistency of the refereeing. I mean, I'm not saying the consistency of the refereeing down there is perfect. Yes, we see dodgy stuff like referees overturning video refs and things like that. But overall, the quality and the standard of the refereeing down under is 10 times better. And the quality of the players down there is just better. Their competition is stronger.
I mean, we're talking about players touching the ball with the foot, Jim. You can be a terrible player. We all managed it for years when we used to play.
Yeah,
and
no, I'm not.
And that's amateur level.
But if the referees aren't going to do it, then
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying my issue is with the refs not policing it well enough. The rule's what it is. The refs have the ability to do it. They just don't.
yeah.
You know, no one's going to call them out if they give away. If they give 10 penalties for not playing the ball right in a game and they're all not played correctly, no fan's going to argue with that.
But I think they would.
Oh, you'll
think
always
they
get
would.
somebody who
You'll
complains.
get, because there'll be so many penalties, people will kick off that there's been so many penalties and they'll say, why can't the referees just let the game flow?
Yeah, you can't win.
So-
You're on a hard into nothing with it.
It's the hardest job in rugby league has been a referee.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, I know.
Absolutely.
I want to do it, but...
Well, that's great talking points.
We're going to move on to our monthly cause. For anyone that's not watched or listened before, we have made the decision this year to sponsor and support a local cause, not necessarily rugby related, but a local cause from the community. And this month we are supporting Otto and his family. So Otto has unfortunately been diagnosed with a horrible disease called crab disease, and we've donated our £50 of the month to a fundraiser for Otto and his family, and we've also got a QR code at the bottom of the screen. We'll put a link in the description as well, and we're sharing it on our socials. But if you could get behind that cause, the intention for the fundraising is to allow Otto and Otto's family to be able to make memories with Otto in the short time that they will have. So again, if you can get behind, Otto and his family. I know I said in the past, but I've had a conversation with Kieran, his dad, a couple of weeks ago, and honestly, I'd never spoke to the guy before. I don't think I've ever spoken to a guy who is so appreciative of just anything and anyone that is doing anything. Just the sheer fact that we are putting this on our socials, that we're putting it on the screen, and that we're donating what is effectively a small amount. It's 50 quid. He could not have been more appreciative. So from what I know, and from Rachel as well, my partner who knows Kieran as well, it's going to a good family and allowing them to create memories with their child. So if you can get behind that, scan the QR code or click the link, and help that family.
As a parent, they're always the hardest ones, the ones where it affects kids.
I said to Dean earlier when we was having our conversation, we've had a couple of causes this year already that involve kids. There's Otto, there's Lucas. We've covered Lila Story's Lila Story's family's campaign for Lila's Law quite a bit, and even as someone that admittedly is not fond of children, don't like spending time around kids all that much, not a parent or anything like that, I can tolerate my nieces occasionally, it's always tough to read them out. And what I did also notice is that it always seems to be me that gets to read the child-related ones out.
We're trying to soften you up.
I have thoroughly been softened, on my stance towards.
Yeah, It's
having
just
a
sad,
family.
like as a parent, like my youngest is 6, and to think that, you know, I've been lucky with my kids. Like other people aren't in that boat. They don't have that luxury of seeing their kids reach 4, 5, 6 years old, and it's just horrific. Like I just wouldn't wish it on anyone.
No, me either. So moving on, something else I wouldn't wish on anyone is being a Rovers fan. So let's talk about Rovers game against Lee this weekend.
We're going to have to be better.
You are going to have to be.
We're going to have to be a lot
Yeah.
better. You know, Lee haven't been blowing teams out the water, and they haven't been the Lee that they have been previously, but
There's always that chance with them.
exactly, you never know when that is going to come because it is in there. They are capable of it. They've got a very, very good squad.
I think any
It
team
pains me
that's
to say
got
'cause I can't stand Lee, but
any team that's got a Pape at 9 and Lam at 7, you're in danger.
yeah, absolutely. Like the danger men, aren't they? And they're sought after for a reason. you know.
And also, sorry, not to take away, they've also got the Super League leading try scorer in their squad as well.
Until this week when we stop him playing and Ryan Hall scores 2.
Not going to happen.
No, probably not. But anyways, no, we need to be a lot better. I think on the injury front, Gildart, I believe, failed his HIA because he didn't come back out. Litton didn't look too clever.
Is his knee strapped up or something?
Yeah, it was already strapped up before he came out, and then he took a bit of a knock in the first half, I think it was. Anyway, he wasn't moving too clever.
Has there been any more updates on that?
Not that I've seen. I had a look before we started, but not that I'd seen. So not sure on that. But watch this space. I guess we're recording on Monday. Is it Monday? Yeah, it's Monday. I'm on nights. They all roll into one. So we're recording Monday. Obviously, we won't know anything until Wednesday, maybe, unless anything comes out before that. So.
Yeah, we're both Friday
8 p.m. Yeah.
So teams will be out midday Wednesday.
Wednesday.
The thing, I think, I don't know. If he was going to be out, you'd have thought that someone from like Old Daily Mail or something would be pushing the club for a response, and they'd be putting it in the paper at least. So we might have heard something, but
yeah, there's been nothing. Disciplinary front was all clear. We had nobody cited this week.
Likewise.
So on that front, so. What are we going to do this week? Do we put Batch into centre? I'd like to see Pangai Jr. have another go because he was very, very good on Friday night. He offered us a different outlet. I think we've maybe been figured out a little bit, especially in our forwards.
There's a lot of grinding.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, workman-like rather than flashy. Not that sort of grinding.
Oh,
different.
right, okay. I didn't watch.
But
I don't know.
He offered us something different. He was attracting 3 and 4 defenders every single tackle, but he was also able to get an offload in.
He got about 3 offloads off, I think.
3 offloads, like when he was surrounded by 3 or 4 defenders. So he's offering us that something different. And with Jez on the back of that, who hopefully, if he's fit, touch wood, who can take that offload and when the square markers are set, getting us an extra 10, 15 yards or so. Yeah. I'd like to see him get another go. Desiree has been going well. But again, I've mentioned it before, it's a luxury. We've got so much quality in our squad depth at the moment. It's an embarrassment of riches, if you will. I don't like to brag as such, but it is embarrassing. Like, it's a positive embarrassment for us that we've got players that we're able to call upon. Like, you look at our reserves and the players that were playing in the reserves, which probably helped us to the win, to be fair. But you've got players like Charles, Super League experience. You've got Ryan Hampshire, Super League experience, and a couple of others to name who had Super League experience. So we've got that depth there.
You've also got some decent players that you've managed to be able to get out on loan as well this year. So even if it's just like 1 week at Saints here, or
like Bill Leyland,
I think he got what's his name on the wing for Huddersfield for the full year.
Kershaw.
Yeah,
I was thinking.
Couldn't think of his name.
I
was
could only
like,
think of senior, but
and
he's
when
not
he had the
even there,
ball
is
at the
he?
weekend, I was like, oh, that's that twat from Rovers, isn't it? But I couldn't remember his name even then.
Obviously, he's been out. He's done his ACL, so he needs game time.
But again, he is a solid winger, and he's in your squad, and you're in a place where you've got two decent wingers, then Noah Booth, and then Kershaw as well.
Yeah.
You know, you have got an embarrassment of riches.
So we'll see, and it's like I say, I've said before, it's a great headache for Peters to have, and rather him having to make them decisions than me. But that's why he earns the money he earns. So.
I mean, just on his decisions, I did think, looking at how much strapping was on Litton's leg, it did look like it was maybe a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we don't know the ins and the outs of the injury, so we're kind of just speculating. But
He might have just got a new tattoo.
But I didn't know if maybe Budgie had something done, 'cause he had plasters on both knees as well. So I don't know if he'd maybe had.
You train on 4G though, don't you? And I know it might be like a really weird thing to say, but has he just
Grazed
his knees on the 4G? Or
Maybe,
something?
I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. You see a little bit of strapping, but I think I put it to you, Abel, in the group that most players at this stage of the season will be playing with knocks and injuries. Like,
Yeah, even if it's not like a serious thing,
Yeah.
you're banged up by now.
oh God, yeah, the intensity that they play at and the speed as well and the physicality. There's probably 5% of the players in there that are carrying knocks across the whole league, but hopefully be better, and home game hopefully the crowd will be better. So we'll see.
Right, same time on Friday then. We've got Wakey. I feel a little bit similar in the sense of we're going to have to really step up. Even though, like last week, you know, we took a massive step up in performance already. I still think we're going to have to take another one. If we play like we did against Huddersfield, we'll give them a game. But if we want to win, I do think there needs to be a bit more in terms of sharpness going forward. Defensively, I don't worry at the minute, but going forward, we need to be a lot sharper. Couple less errors, couple less missed tackles, you know, in defence. But again, I'm not overly worried. But
I mean, to me, given the fact we're not guaranteed any players back, we've got a few outside chances realistically compared to the squad that's just played against Huddersfield.
I would say Ardacre should be a guarantee.
Okay, well, I mean, I haven't read that yet, but fair enough. If that's the case, then
Yeah.
he's probably going to come back in. I'm more interested, to be honest, in what Wakey side is going to be out.
Yeah.
Because there seemed to be a big difference between the side that played Rovers 2 weeks ago and the one that just got battered by Wigan to a degree. I think Lino was one of the key ones that was missing. I'm not sure exactly why. But there seems to be a couple of other of their first team players that didn't play against Wigan. And
He took
obviously,
a knock against us, I think,
Yeah.
Lino.
So-
I'm not sure if it was his knee.
and I think, like I say, that can be a big difference right there. If Lino's playing, that's another very big threat that's going to be on the field. Whereas if he's not playing, okay, I'm sure they've got a decent replacement, but he's not going to be of the same quality.
Yeah.
So that could play into our favour if he's still not available. But again, we won't see that until later this week. So
Lino for me is always like, I don't know. I look at him as a player and I think, yeah, you're a good Super League player. I don't rate him like right up there. But then every now and again he just does something. And I don't know whether it's just because I don't watch him that much. I only really see a lot of him when he plays against us. But he always just seems to do something. Mm-hmm. I'm like, where'd that come from? You've done out for 60 minutes and then like, you're gone.
It's like Rangy Chase, isn't it?
Yeah, but you always knew with Chase that he was gonna do something, didn't you? Like,
But you just never knew when he was.
didn't know when or what or yeah.
He didn't know when or what.
no,
I think
was the issue.
one thing for us is, and it was obvious last week, we did a lot of managing minutes in our pack. Hopefully, we don't need to do as much of that because it's all well and good against a poor Huddersfield team messing around with who's playing where. In your back row, for example, like Kirby played left, right, middle,
He did the full 80 basically across the park. So.
And you had Cartwright played the first half, and
SASA's minutes are still getting managed to a degree as well, aren't they?
yeah, I think I would hope that we can get all of them players on the pitch for a bit longer at least, and be able to rotate the pack in a more natural way, as opposed to what we had to do.
As long as those players are actually fit enough to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to see any risks.
Obviously,
no.
no.
When you've not had SASA and Cartwright and whoever else for such long periods, I don't want us rushing players back if they're not right, or if
I agree.
If they explicitly can only do a 40-minute stint, then they do 40 minutes.
Yeah, I don't want to be pushing, because you don't. I know that we are falling behind, or we've fallen behind, and we need to start racking up points to start, a push to hopefully get maybe nick a 6th place.
Yeah.
Now's not the time to be taking risks. We're still only halfway through the season. There's still a lot of points up for grabs, and if we do nick 6th, if we did manage to do that, again, I still think it's a long shot, but if we did, players like Cartwright, SASA, Batch, that we need them players, coming up against the top teams in the league if we do make the playoffs. So, yeah, I don't want them risking. I'm just saying I hope we're in a position where we don't need to manage as weirdly as we did against Huddersfield. And much like what Craig said then about having Pangai Jr. there to draw players in, SASA is that player for us. And if we can keep him fit, it does add an extra dimension in terms of getting that offload, getting that support play. And I think our support play this week was top. I thought it was really good.
I think that I think he's been a bit maligned. Obviously, the jury's still out. He's only done it against a poorer Huddersfield team. But Jake Arthur looked very good, particularly in the first half. Yeah. And obviously, is that just the fact that there's a few extra bigger forwards hitting a few more gaps, punching a few more holes, and giving him a bit more space to work in? Maybe he just had a good game against a bad team. Who knows? If he does it week on week, then we can make a judgment on that. But it does seem to have coincided when we get a few more forwards back, especially towards the edges as well, where you can start drawing defenders in and where the gaps start appearing. Yeah. And he did look a lot better. Yeah,
jury's definitely still out. I know a lot of people have already slammed the hammer down and found him guilty of being shit, but I do agree. I think the jury is still out. You can't judge an overseas player coming in, even after 13 odd games, 14 games or whatever it's been, when he's still not played behind the same pack alongside the same second rower with the same centre, the same weight. He's not had any consistency whatsoever coming into that squad, and he's had the disruption of the whole backroom issues that we've had in terms of Cartwright leaving and anything else that might have gone on, in the backroom as a result of that. You can't judge him. I'm not saying he's great. I'm not saying I think he's fantastic, but I do think we are still yet to see the best version of Jake Arthur.
Yeah, I mean, halfbacks don't outright win your matches behind beaten packs, do they? Typically.
No, we've spoke about
that. Like you could take Lewis out of Rovers' squad, dump him in the current FC squad. Is he going to win matches for you? And you might get a few more tries, but he's not going to change the overall complexion of how we attack. One player just doesn't. It's very unlikely that one player is capable of doing all that on their own. No. Obviously, at Rovers, it's a team effort. Obviously, and without with the fact that we're getting pack players back, that's hopefully coinciding with better performances.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I think with something like that, obviously we'll use Mikey as the example. Yeah, he'll get more tries, but then you probably find that a player like that probably give away more penalties in frustration as well. And aside from the fact that also hell would freeze over, the world would change. Sheffield would flood, yeah. But anyway, I think that's it for FC Wakey. Let's move on to Craig's time to shine.
Didn't even need a reminder.
Well, if I didn't say it, I'd get moaned at afterwards, wouldn't I? Dean wouldn't hear the end of it. He was getting messages left, right and centre. Come back.
So predictions then. I'll start off with the yellow cap, which this week went to established 1865, which is Mark Wake. He scored a whopping
How
11...
old are you?
I love it. He scored 11.5, also my age. Oh no, Liam Patterson, who got the wooden spoon, known as Liam Patterson, 3. That's more my mental age. But yeah, 3 points this week. Did predict all the games. Quick rundown of our standings then. Susan still remains top, 87.75, gaining 6.5 points. Dean, second still, 79.25, gaining 5.5. Myself, 76.75, gaining 5.5. Jimmy gained 6.5 to take him up to 76.25.
Comebacks on.
It is, yeah. Joint highest for Susan this week, and then Josh scored a measly 4 points, taking him to 70 overall, and remains in 5th.
Have we checked he's okay? He's just not doing well on the predictions, is he? Like,
Marathon, not sprint. You know what he's like.
I know that's what he's going to say, but he's really bad.
So this week then, Halliwell Jones, Warrington Leeds, tasty game to start off.
I need to get my
Come on,
predictions.
Jimmy. Jesus, wet.
Sorry.
Right, so I'll do mine and Josh's, and then obviously I'll hand it over to you guys. So I've got Leeds.
You've got Dean's and Susan's as well. So.
Yeah, I know, but they're in order.
Oh, all right,
so.
okay, fair enough.
Warrington and Leeds at the Halliwell Jones, as I've just said. Warrington by 10, and Josh has got Warrington by 12.
Are you giving any input?
I think Warrington would. Will win on that one.
Fair enough.
I've gone Leeds by 7.
Oh, the lovely 7. The drop goal's back.
Love a drop goal.
Dean's gone for Leeds by 4, and Susan's gone for Leeds by 8. So we're Leeds across the board there, apart from your good self there, Abel. The Circle, OFC versus Wakefield on Friday night. I've got Hull by 4. No, I haven't. I've got Wakefield by 14, and Josh has got Wakefield by 16.
Wow. What are you saying?
I'm still living on the positivity from last week, so I'm going to say FC sneaking it by 2 points.
Ooh.
I'm potentially throwing away points here as well, but I'm going FC by 8.
Home by 8. Wow. Odd one out this week.
Am I?
Yeah. Dean's got Wakey by 6, and Susan's got Wakefield by 10.
Oh, fair enough. Idiots.
Clip it.
So, yeah, clip it, yeah. Sullbrook, Craven Park, Hull Lee, I've spoken about. Me and Josh have both got Rovers by 8.
You're at home still?
Yeah, we're at home,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I'd say Rovers 2.
Rovers by 2.
I've got Rovers by 10.
Rovers by 10.
I don't think he said Rovers by 2.
Yeah,
I think he just
just
said
meant
Rovers 2.
Rovers 2. Right,
Like Rovers
okay.
as well.
Rovers by 10, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dean's got Rovers by 7, and Susan's got Rovers by 8. So across the board there. LNER, York versus Wigan. Wigan by 40. And Josh has got York, Wigan by 34.
Wigan by 30 plus.
Jimmy's changing his prediction right now as we speak.
No, I'm going to stick with it. I've got Wigan by 20.
Away by 20. Dean's got Wigan by 26, and Susan's got Wigan by 30. So quite big winning margins there. Stagil Bear Brutus, Catalans versus Bradford. I've got Catalans by 14, and Josh has got Catalans by 16.
Catalans.
Catalans.
I've got Catalans by 18.
Catalans by 18. Dean's got Catalan by 10, and Susan's got Catalan by 12. So close across the board there, just 6 point spread. One Ball Stadium, Castleford versus Toulouse. I've got Toulouse by 6, and Josh has got Toulouse by 12, sorry.
Sorry, I missed it. Who Toulouse were playing?
Castleford, Toulouse at Castleford.
Okay, so cast by a little bit.
I've got cast by a little bit too, which is cast by 4.
Home by 4. And Susan and Dean have both got Castleford by 8 this week. Final game of the round then. Is it still called the Brewdog?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, they got bought out
Yeah.
of administration. Brewdog did.
Yeah, that's. I didn't know if they changed it or not.
No, they shut a load of bars down, but
Fair enough.
kept the sponsorship.
Well, Brewdog then. Saints versus Huddersfield. I've got Saints by 32. Josh has got Saints by 36.
wow.
Yeah, Saints 20 plus.
Yeah.
I just don't have a lot of faith in Saints. I've got Saints win, but I've
You
just
saw
gone...
Huddersfield against us last week, right?
Yeah, but I just think Saints are so up and down.
This will be an up week.
Well, maybe. I've gone Saints by 12.
Wow, okay. Dean's got Saints by 30 and Susan's got Saints by 20.
Well, you're all wrong.
Well, we'll see, won't we? We'll see next week.
You will. Late Huddersfield comeback. Kershaw will get a late hat-trick. Bring them back down to ground.
Kershaw will play a Magic Weekend.
Yeah. Anyway, that about wraps us up, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, you're right.
Thank you again to Comscaf for sponsoring the pod, and Tribal for again giving us a place to record and drink and chat BS. Also to 7 Gold as well, and GN Carpets for being sponsors as well. And don't forget, like, subscribe and hype on YouTube on your phone if you can. Yeah, that's it. See you, bye.
See you, bye.
See you, bye.